Canva templates are an amazing digital product to sell online because they're high in demand and they can provide you with passive income. I love passive income products because you only have to put in the initial effort to create them one time, and then you can set them up to sell on autopilot, meaning that you don't have to do any more work when the orders come in to fill those orders. It's an instant download, so you just create that product once, and then every time you get a sale, it's instantly and automatically fulfilled, and you make passive income every single time. In my opinion, Canva templates are one of the very best products you can sell, whether you're wanting to make money online with a side hustle or do this to bring in a full-time income. So today I'm walking you through the entire process of creating and selling Canva templates from start to finish, including the actual designing of the template, creating your deliverable file, designing your mockups, and getting them listed for sale. So first, before we hop onto the computer and start the actual designing, let's quickly talk about what Canva templates are and what kinds you can sell. I need to clarify from the very beginning that what we're talking about in this video is very different than the Canva Creator Program. If you go on Canva, you'll see they have a whole huge templates library, and those are created by freelance designers that are part of Canva's Canva Creator Program. So that's not what I'm talking about today, though that is a route you can go if you want to do something different, creating templates to contribute to the actual Canva template library. But I'm talking about creating and selling your own Canva templates in your own e-commerce shop. So the templates you create are not going into that Canva library. They're going to be sold on your own shop, whether that be in your Etsy shop or through your own e-commerce shop with Shopify or on another platform like Creative Market. There's a lot of different places you can set up your own shop to sell, but I realize there can be a little bit of confusion about that, so I just wanted to make that clear from the beginning. Now, there are all different kinds of Canva templates you can sell as well, everything from selling invitations like birthday party or wedding invitations, to templates for social media content like Instagram posts and stories, to digital planners like wedding planners or budget planners, to coaching and educational resources like creating templates for guides and worksheets and workbooks and checklists, to slide deck presentations and more. The sky really is the limit when it comes to the different types of these templates you can sell. So that's the first step before we even start designing, is to do a little bit of research to figure out what kind of templates you want to sell and within what niche. Now we're about to jump into step number 1 here, which is actually creating your template design. But before we do that, first I want to let you know I have a free 45-minute long deep dive masterclass all about starting and growing a digital products business online. It's called Digital Product Powerhouse, and it goes through the 4 crucial steps you'll need to take to find success fast in your digital products business. And I'm able to go into a little bit more of a deep dive with the strategy in that masterclass than I am in just a short YouTube video. So I wanted to offer that as a free gift in case you're someone who needs a little bit of help or guidance in terms of getting your digital products business going. This is going to be a hugely helpful resource for you. So I've got that masterclass linked in the description box below. I'd love for you to hop over and watch that as soon as you get done watching this video. All right, enough talk. Let's jump into step number 1, which is creating your template. So we're here on the Canva homepage, and before we even get here, if you haven't created a Canva account yet, you can do that free and easy with the Canva free plan. But if you're wanting to create template links to sell, you'll need Canva Pro, which is their upgraded plan. Still very affordable in my opinion, but you'll need that Canva Pro to do what we're talking about today. So if you don't yet have Canva Pro, I have a free 30-day pro trial linked in the description box below. That's my affiliate link, but you can use that to grab 30 days for free on Canva Pro to have access to all the features we're using today and decide if that would be a good fit for your business. So once you sign up with Canva, you'll come here to your Canva homepage and you'll come over to the left where it says create. And then you'll have options here of all of the different types of projects you could start. They've got preset sizes, but you can also input a custom size if you like. For our demo today, I'm going to be creating a set of Instagram post templates. So Canva already has that as a preset. If I just start typing in Instagram, it'll come up with several different options and I can see the sizing underneath each. So I can see what choices I have here and select the one I want. So I'm going to go with this one that says Instagram post square, and that'll bring me into my editor. So I can see I have my blank project here and all of my editing tools here to the left. Now, quick note, if you're unsure on what size you need to create for your project and Canva doesn't have a preset size, you can always do some research in your niche on a website like Etsy, just by looking up similar products and looking at the listings that are bestsellers to see what's already selling well in the market. And that'll give you an idea of the size that you might need for the type of template you want to create. So here is where you're just going to start creating your design. So you can add text and elements here on the left-hand side menu. You can see if you click on elements, you can search for something you want. So let's say I want a graphic of a laptop. I can just type in laptop and click over to graphics and see all of these different elements that I can just easily click to add to my project. Now, quick note here is you'll see on some of these elements a little crown symbol in the bottom right-hand corner. That shows us that that is a Canva Pro element, which means it's free free for Canva Pro users, but Canva free users will have to pay before they can download a design with a pro element in it. So in general, when you're creating these types of templates, it's best to only use the free elements, because even though you have Canva Pro, your customer might not have Canva Pro, they might just have the free Canva, and they might get very frustrated if they buy the template from you and get in there to edit it, and then they realize they have to pay extra because you've added these pro elements. So if you have Canva Pro, an easy thing you can do is come up here to these little lines on the side of the search bar, and that'll give you some options for filtering, and just choose that you want to see only the free elements. And when you have that selected, it'll filter out all of the pro elements to make sure you're only using the free in your templates. So again, you just start clicking and editing this, building it out to design it the way you want. You can add text by coming over here to the text box and clicking to add your text box, doing things like resizing, typing in what you want. You can change things like the font, the color, and you can add fun effects with this little effects tool at the top, like outlining it or adding a neon effect or a glitch effect. There's so many different fun things within Canva that you can play around with to make this look really professional. One quick note I want to make here in terms of designing is you want to make sure to create your design in a style that's going to sell really well and that's in demand in the market. I would recommend that you do a little bit of product and niche research within the specific type of templates you're thinking of. You can go on Etsy again to do this type of research, type in something that's similar to what you're thinking of offering, and take a look at the listings that are ranking high on the first and second pages of search results, specifically the ones that say bestseller or popular now on the thumbnail. Those are clues to you that those listings are selling consistently over and over again, doing really well on the platform. And you can look through to see different style elements. What types of fonts are they using? What color schemes are they using? What types of graphics and photos are they using on a similar type of vibe or aesthetic? You also want to make sure if you're creating a set of templates or a bundle like we're doing today with Instagram posts, that all of the different designs that are going into one set together feel really cohesive. So for that set, I'd recommend that you decide on no more than 4 or 5 colors that are going into the color scheme and no more than 3 different fonts that you're using together within all of the designs of that bundle. So here's an example of an Instagram post set that my team and I created. This is with the idea of a small business owner in mind. So these are all different designs that a business owner could edit and use for their own social media. But again, you can do something like this for a lot of different niches. It wouldn't have to be just for a business owner. You could do this for really any kind of target audience member that you think could use a set like this. So I've got 28 different designs that are all part of this same project within Canva. This is going to be my complete Instagram post square size set. But let's say I want to also offer these same designs in a vertical story size, because on Instagram, you can do stories, which are a different size than your posts. So if you have Canva Pro, this is really easy to do by just coming up to the top and clicking where it says resize. And then you can type in what you want. So I might say Instagram story, and it's got the preset size here, which is 1080 by 1920 pixels. But again, if it doesn't have a preset size for what I want, I can always choose custom size and input what I want there. For now, I'm going to choose Instagram story and then click copy and resize. And when I open the new story size set, you can see it's copied all of my designs into this new vertical format. Got most of the elements here, but some of these I may need to just go in and tweak a little bit, like expanding my background image here to fit the new size. So I'm just going to go through and make these slight changes just to make sure that all of my designs here look correct for this size as well. And once I've done that, I have my complete set of the story size and the square post size. Now, one other thing to note is your title of your project. You want to go ahead at this point and give it a title right here in this top title section. So right now I have this as Instagram square template, light and airy. If I click over to my story post, it automatically gave me the same title, but just in parentheses, it says story. So I might want to just change this up a little bit and change this from Instagram square to Instagram vertical, so that this way, when my buyer comes in to edit these, they can look at the title and tell what is what. So the next step here, once I've got all my designs created, is to come up to the top right corner where it says share, and then I'm going to click where it says template link. Now again, you'll see the little crown symbol here. This tells you that you can only generate a template link like this if you have Canva Pro. So I'm going to click on template link, and it will generate that unique link for me. So this is the template link for this template that I created. This is the link I'm actually going to be sharing and giving to my buyer. That's going to allow them to generate their own unique copy of this template and open it up and and edit it inside of their own Canva account when they're ready to do that. So you can rest assured that they're never going to touch your original template. This is going to allow them, like I said, to open a unique copy. Every customer gets their own copy that they're editing in their account. They're not editing in your account, so you don't have to worry about that. Your original stays the same when you're sharing it with this template link. So I've generated that for my square set. I'm going to hop over and generate that link for my vertical set. And if you don't see right here where it says template link, you can click this little see all button. That'll give you more options, and you'll see the template link right up here under the first part that says share. So here it is. I'm going to click template link, create template link. And there it is, it's generated. And I'm going to come back in a minute and copy these. So I'm going to leave these tabs open while I move on to this next step. Okay, so we've created the templates themselves. It's time to move on to step number 2, which is creating your deliverable. So your deliverable is the actual file that you're going to upload to your listing, which we'll see in just a minute. I'm going to show you how to actually create the listing. This is the file that you upload to that listing. That's the actual file that's being delivered to your buyer. If you were selling a different type of digital product, like let's say a wall art print, then that would be your deliverable file. It would be the actual wall art print file. It's a little bit different when we're selling templates because we don't have an actual file for the template. It's a link that we're selling, right? A link for them to jump in and alter and edit this themselves inside their Canva account. But we have to have a deliverable file of some sort. So we're going to just create a simple one-page PDF file that's going to be uploaded to our listing with the template access link embedded. So here we're going to start again on our Canva homepage to create a whole new project. We're going to click on the left where it says create. You can do this in whatever size you want, but I generally like to just do a US letter size. So I'm going to type in letter, and that's going to give me an 8.5 by 11 inch. So I can click on this preset, and that's going to bring me into a whole new project that's in the right size. And I'm going to just use this one page to add text that gives instructions and allows me to embed the link for delivery. So here's an example of one I already created just to give you an idea of what this could look like. Now, of course, I've already designed this. You can make this look like whatever you want. It doesn't have to look like mine, but this will give you a general idea of what sections you can include here. So I have your logo here at the top. This is where you could put any branding or your logo if you have one. And then this next little box is just a short thank you message that thanks them for their purchase. We sincerely hope you enjoy using your Canva template. And then the next line says, access your template here. You'll notice in this section, the here is underlined, which tells us there's a link embedded here. So the way I did this is I came over to the text box on the left. I added my text using that and formatted it with the colors and fonts that I wanted. And after you have your text there, you're going to click to highlight the section of text that you want to add your link to make clickable. So if I wanted to add it, let's say to access your template, I'm going to highlight those words. And when I have them highlighted, this little floating bar pops up and I can see the link option here. So I'm going to click on that link option and enter the URL that I want this text to lead them to when they click on it. So this is where we're actually going to enter our template link that we generated on our actual template. So now I'm going to click back over to my template itself. Remember, come up to share. This is where I can find the template link that I generated. It's under template link. It says live right here because it's already been generated. So I'm going to click into that and click copy. And then when I come back over to my deliverable file, I'm going to right click and choose paste. And that's going to paste in that URL. And I'm going to click done. So once you've added the link, you'll see that your text now has a line underneath, which shows that it's a clickable link and will be clickable for your reader after they purchase and download this. I just went ahead and added some extra text that says you'll be able to edit the following inside your template: colors, wording, elements, text, and element effects, positioning. This just kind of gives them an idea of what all they can edit inside the template. And then I also included steps to get started because a lot of times people don't really realize what all goes into editing a Canva template. You could include a link for them to create their own Canva account. And again, another option to open their template. This is going to be the same template link that you copied and pasted up here. And I also like to include a little section that gives them a support email address they can contact you at in case they have any questions. And this bottom section I used for some extra marketing mentions. So here I've got a little reminder for them to leave us a review or leave feedback. We've got some links to connect on social. Again, you can find elements like this over here on the left if you click on the elements library and add them to your design. And once they've been added, you can simply click to add a link to them by clicking on these three dots and choosing link. That'll allow you to add hyperlinks to all your social media. You could give a fun little coupon code for their next purchase and even something like a little freebie here. You can make this totally what you want, but this is a great way to give them all the information they need need. And specifically, the purpose of this is to embed that template link for them to access. So once you've got this deliverable file all created, then you're going to come up to share and choose download, and you're going to download this as a PDF. So under file type, you're looking for the one that says PDF standard. And then you want to make sure that this little box right here that says flatten PDF does not get checked. If you check this and then you download it, that link that you put in there is not going to be clickable for the reader. So you want to make sure that flatten PDF box stays unchecked and then click to download. So you can see here when your customer opens up this file that you delivered to them, they'll be able to click this little area that you embedded your link in. And when they open it, it will give them an option here to click edit template, and that will bring them into their own Canva account to start editing. Okay, so you've got your templates created, you've now got your deliverable file created, and it's time to move on to the third step, which is creating your mockups. Mockups are the images that you're going to use on your actual listing when you set up shop, which is in the next step, but we're gonna go ahead and prepare for that by creating these mockups. Are gonna give your potential customer a little bit of an idea of what's included in this template set and showcase what this product might look like as a tangible item. It's a little hard to showcase digital products in the same way that we can with physical products, but creating really quality, professional looking mockups is a great way to do it. Now, the size mockup that you'll need will depend on where your shop is set up. So it's going to be different for Etsy versus Shopify versus Creative Market. But for this demo, we're just going to assume that we're selling these on Etsy. Etsy recommends that your listing images should have a minimum size of 2000 pixels for both the width and the height. So we're going to create these in Canva in a new project. I've started a project here in that size of 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels. And before I ever even start creating this mockup, what I need to do first is come back over to my actual templates themselves and download the final design. So I'm going to come up to share and click download. Now you can do this either as a PNG or a JPG. For now, I'm just going to choose JPG. And you can select if you want certain pages under this select pages option. But for this, I'm just going to choose all pages because I want all my designs downloaded, and I'm going to click download. Then when I come to my download section, I can see the zip file here that downloaded. Canva just did this to compress my files, and all I have to do to open this is just double click it, and it gives me my whole folder, which I can then click into and see all of my individual designs here. So once I've downloaded those, then I'm going to come back to where I'm going to work on my mockups, and I'm going to click the uploads tab here to the left and choose upload files. And this is where I'm going to click into the folder of my designs I just downloaded and drag to select all of the ones I want to bring into Canva and click open. And this is going to add each of my design files into my uploads folder so I can actually use those in my mockups. So there are all different types of mockups you could create. For now, I'm going to do this first one as a grid that's showing several different designs that are part of this bundle. So to do this, I'm going to come over to elements here on the left and scroll down to the section that says grids. I want to click to see all, and this is going to give me a lot of options for different grids with frames. So remember, a frame is where you can actually drag in your design to take on a specific size and orientation. So the one I'm going to use for this is all the way down. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this grids section, and it's actually this very last one, which I'm going to click to add to my design. This is going to give me 16 total little frames that I can drag my designs into. So now I'm going to click back over on the left where it says uploads, because remember, this is where I uploaded my own designs that are part of this set. So I'm going to just start clicking and dragging these over one by one, and you'll see how they sort of snap into the frames. So these frames make it really easy to make sure that your design is evenly spaced, that all of these are in the right spot. I'm just going to continue working through this one by one. Okay, so I've got all of my images in here, and now just to make this a little more fun, I'm going to click to rotate this with this little arrow, and then I want to also size it up so it takes up all of the background white space. So I'm going to click and hold the shift keyboard button while I click and drag this corner, and that's going to let me scale this up without losing the aspect ratio of any of these squares. So there, I think that's really cute. And now I'm going to add my text on top. So I'm just going to come back to the elements section. I want a little brush stroke effect. So I'm going to type that in, click to add the one I want. I'm going to just use this one, size it up. This is going to serve as sort of a little background for my text. I can always click here to change the color of this. And then I'm going to come back over to the left to my text bar and click to add a text box. This is where I'm actually going to type out what I want this mockup to say. So let's say I've created a whole bundle of 200 Instagram posts and stories. Of course, you would make this say whatever is accurate to what your listing is. And I'm just going to continue formatting this text using my options up here on this top floating toolbar by changing things like the font, the color. I can even change the spacing and add effects like we talked about before. This little element that's behind my brushstroke, I can even alter the transparency on that if I want it to be a little more see-through, so I can see through to the pictures behind. So there's lots of fun effects that you can apply here while you're creating your mockups to make them look really engaging. So this might be my first mockup, but remember on Etsy, you have 10 different listing images. So you might want to create 10 of these different types of mockups, all in slightly different formats that give information about what's included. So I'm going to click here to add a second page to create another style. And for this one, maybe I'll just change the background color by clicking on the top here, choosing a color that goes along with my aesthetic for this bundle. And then maybe I want some iPhones. So I'm going to come over to Elements. I'm going to type in phone and come over to frames. So these are Canva frames that I can drag an image into. And again, it'll make it look like it's inside the phone. So let's just use this one. And I'm going to size this down because I want to add several of these all the way across. But before I duplicate these, I want to add one other little fun element here to my phone, which is a little shadow underneath. So you can find this again in the elements library. I'm just going to type in shadow, click over to graphics, and I have all of these options for different types of shadows. Now you want to make sure to choose the one that looks natural under something like a phone or whatever object you're using. So you might need to do a little bit of trial and error with these to resize, play around with them, and see what ends up looking the best. But I'm just going to place that right underneath my phone object. So it's just a little subtle shadow underneath. Again, you can always play around with the transparency of that to make it look exactly like you want it to. All right, so we've got our phone and our shadow. I'm going to click to drag and group these together. So now I can move both the phone and shadow together as one. When I have that group selected, I can click on this little icon up here that says duplicate with the little plus button. And when I duplicate that, it's going to duplicate both the phone and the shadow. And I can then duplicate this as many times as I want. So again, I'm going to select this and continue until I have the amount that I want going all the way across. I want to make sure that they are evenly spaced and centered. And then maybe I want another row down here underneath. I'm just going to continue this process. So there I've got my phones. I'm going to come back over to my upload section on the left like I did before. And at this point, hopefully I have my other size. I would have uploaded my vertical story size images as well. And I'm going to go through the same process as I did before with clicking and dragging these over into the frames. Once I have all my designs in the frames, I can add a little bit of text up here. So again, I'm going to come to the left where it says text and add a text box. This might say attention grabbing stories, and I'm going to format this to fit correctly. There's lots of fun things you can do to level this design up. So you'll want to continue this process until you've created all of the different mock-up images that you're going to use for your listing. And when you're done with that, you're going to come up to the share button on the top right, and we're going to download each of these to use in our listing creation. So again, under file type, I would suggest that you choose JPG. That's one of the smaller files that'll be easily uploaded to your listing. And you're going to download all of the pages. If you don't want to select certain ones, I'm going to just leave this on all. And again, click download. I'd recommend you do a little bit of research when you're starting this process of creating your mockups to see what formats and styles are working well for the best-selling listings. And if you don't want to create these from scratch, you can also purchase these types of mockup templates from a platform like Etsy as well. Okay, so we've created our template, our deliverable, our mockups, and now it's finally time to move on to step number 4, which is to create your listing. Now, the listing creation process, again, is going to look very different depending on what sales channel you're using. So the Etsy listing process is going to be different than what it looks like for Shopify or for listing on Creative Market. But for this demo, again, we're using Etsy as our example. So we're going to look at how to create an Etsy listing for this type of product. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire listing process because they are pretty self-explanatory. So for now, I'm just going to hit on the main ones that you'll need to know for listing your Canva template and uploading your mockups and deliverable file. So within your Etsy dashboard, you'll come to create a listing. And the first thing it'll ask you is what kind of item is it? And you'll need to select a category. So here you can just start typing in templates or Canva templates, and you'll see some suggestions start to pop up that you can choose from. So for now, I'm going to choose social media templates because that's what I've created, and click continue. And then the next thing it'll ask you is this a physical item or a digital file? Of course, we're talking about delivering digital files, so we'll select that. And I'm going to continue on through the prompts that it's asking me here. here. Now, when I get to my actual page where I can start creating this listing, I'm going to put in the keyword phrases I want for my title. So hopefully you will have done some SEO research to find what keywords describe your product that are highly searched keyword phrases that your ideal customers are typing into the search bar. That's what you'll be putting in here to the title, as well as your tags section and your description section here. All of those keywords give the algorithm a clue as to what your product is for and helps it to rank higher and be delivered to the right type of customer. Now, underneath your title, you'll have a photos and video section. This is where we're going to click to add our listing photos. So these are the mockups we just created. You should be able to find them in your downloads section, and you'll just click to upload the ones you want to your listing. So ideally with Etsy, you have 10 possible photos. It's best to use as many of those 10 as possible to give your buyer more of an idea of what's included. So I have my mockups uploaded there. I can see this is my main thumbnail image. And then the next section down says digital files. This is where I'm going to click to add my deliverable file. So remember, this is our README file that we created earlier. That was just the one simple page that has our template link embedded. So I just titled mine README. You could title it whatever you want, but this is the actual file that they're going to receive upon purchase that gives them the access link. And then of course, you'll just continue creating your listing, going through the different prompts, filling in things like your description, your pricing, your shop section, and more. And when you're finished, you'll just click publish. And now it's time to shout it from the rooftops that your shop is open and your templates are ready to be purchased. So friend, I hope this tutorial was super helpful for you. Don't forget to click the link in the description box below to hop over and watch my free masterclass, Digital Product Powerhouse. And also click that link below to grab your free Canva Pro 30-day trial. Happy selling!